Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the best number 21B772L. This is a padlock is what it is. And here is that padlock right here. This is a brass bodied padlock with a satin chrome finish. As is standard with all things best, just specifying the part number directly explicitly infers, means, intends, directs that there's no cylinder included. Cylinders can be certainly purchased and supplied. They have to be purchased and supplied somehow from somewhere, etc., etc. But that needs to be listed as a separate line item. The cylinder, meaning the platform, is it Peaks? Is it Premium? Is it Standard? Is it Cormax? Is it what keyway? What keying requirements? So when you order just something simple and straightforward, there's no cylinder. So be mindful of that. And this, of course, is without cylinder. So this is a 21B is this cylinder. We're going to dissect that part number in a moment. And before we do so, let's take a look at the dimensional properties. And we'll see this come up again when we get to the supporting documentation. Let's take some dimensional properties. Overall height of the body, 2 inch. Overall thickness, about an inch and, about 13/16. The dimension from the shackle height, which is measured from the base here to the underside here, well, my caliper is telling me 2.07 inch, so I'm sure that's supposed to be a 2-inch caliper. The shackle width, the clear inside width, .88, 0.88, so probably supposed to be 7/8 wide. The shackle diameter, I think this one's 5/16, 0.312, yeah, so spot on. 5/16 is the shackle diameter. Now, I do have a cylinder that's here that we'll be able to use to operate the unit. You have your throw member here, and this is a non-key retaining. You're also going to get your spacer. The cylinder that I have is a 6-pin length cylinder with a 6-pin or a 5-pin, and they do make 5-pin, although I've never seen one, but they do make them. You'll need the spacer. The throw member will not engage the padlock correctly without that installed. So we're going to put that throw member into the back of the unit. And I'm not exactly sure if I've got it the right way, but we'll figure out when it turns or doesn't turn. And I have the control key installed into the cylinder. So let's slide that in and see how we do. I'm pretty sure I've got it backwards. Okay. Cylinder goes in. Okay. Non-key retaining, meaning you can remove the key when the shackle is open. Put that control key back in there. That's not the control. On this ring, I know I have keys that aren't meant for this cylinder. Okay, there we go. So we'll put our cylinder aside. You've got your throw member and your spacer. Okay, you'll need those. Now let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here is the item we are looking at, and by the way, it weighs about 0.704 pound. So it weighs about 7/10 of a pound, this padlock does. So we have some links over here, and let's just touch on them quickly. So we've got a 21B772L. Let's click on Service Manual. Okay, so this is going to show us the exploded view of these units. So super handy. Now, as I'm scrolling through to orient myself, okay, so we see that we have the parts that are listed here. You don't have a chain involved with yours, but those can be supplied, and we'll get to that when we look at the cut sheet. The throw member, part number 9, is that what they call it? Yeah, throw member. So we've got a non-key retained, and we can tell that we are going to be able to have the option of non-key retained and key retained. That simply means that you can't pull your key out when the padlock's not locked. So be mindful of that. Those components here make it really simple and straightforward in terms of a parts diagram of the unit. You can convert them from key retained to non-key retained. It's not unusual for someone to buy throw members because they've realized that they want to change the function. This disassembly tool that's here is listed here. The issue is the concern I have is I don't know what the part number is for the disassembly tool. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it listed here, so I will get that updated below this video. By the time you're seeing it, that ought to be updated. You're going to need that spacer again, for sure. And they don't show it. That's what those asterisks mean. Well, actually, it means you need 2 for a 5-pin core. So that'll be the service manual. Let's click on Cut Sheet. And one really nice thing about BEST is their how to order matrix. That's always very helpful. So we know we're dealing with a brass body with a 5/16 shackle diameter. It's a 7, meaning it will take all cores. It makes you think that it's a 7-pin exclusively. It will take any of them. So we have a 722, if you recall. Pardon me. We have a 772. So we have a 772, 2-inch shackle height, L, non-key retaining, and then we don't have any options here. Okay, you can do a 606, which is a satin brass in the 21B, but the standard is a satin chrome. Standard finish 626 satin chrome. So what's nice is you can see the other sizes that are available and how to order those with the shackle code. So this client clearly ordered a steel shackle using the 7.2 rather than the 7.0. So that's our cut sheet. Let's take a closer look at the product catalog. This should be a document that shows all of their padlocks. So all we've done is taken the one sheet that applies. Now be mindful, there's also the 11B, and the difference here is that it has a 1/4-inch diameter shackle, the 11B. Get up to a 41B with a 3/8 shackle, and then accessories and modifications. Disassembly tool, it's shown. A frangible shackle is literally a shackle that's meant to be cut or broken. You have security, but should you need to get in there, you can do so relatively easily, probably just by aggressively with a tool twisting the body, although it's meant to be cut. Exploded diagram, there you go. That's the part number for the disassembly tool, BD654. By the time you're seeing this video, we'll have that part added to the site. Okay, a little bit nicer exploded drawing that's seen here. I do like the concept of the disassembly tool because this padlock, compared to many others, this is a really simple padlock in the sense that you don't have multiple parts, 2 or more parts that you have to drop in and then get to sit properly. It's all contained. This can't come out. There are no subcomponents, so it's a smart system right from the word go. Now, also there is the sales sheet, probably not going to be too much new information here. This is clearly a more up-to-date version because it has the Dormakaba company information here. So we have it included, and I do like to keep the old or original or older documents for the sake of historical purpose. This is a grade 4 padlock with a stainless steel shackle, which is not hardware grade 4. There is no hardware grade 4. That would be a very light duty lock, or light duty. This is an ASTM F883 grade 4. So I am no expert in what those grades mean. I do know the higher the grading, the more robust the padlock is. So this is not a slouch, but you would need to please do the research to determine if this grade 4 certification meets your requirements. Okay. Satin brass, satin chrome. Very typical and common piece of equipment. Now here below this video is a link to the manufacturer's page, and as we click on that, that page will come up, and here it is. And from that page, we'll be able to review not only all of the best products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And that's awfully handy because it contains all things best, although admittedly it's quite an unwieldy document because it's, 340 pages long. Speaking of handy yet unwieldy documents would be the service manual that's here. Best Access Service Manual. That is a huge document, 1,300 pages, 1,358 pages. So the nice thing about this document is if you have a question on a part for a best lock, if you call there, when you call there, they are literally referring to this document. The point of me showing you where this is, I suggest save yourself the call because the answer is probably already published. Best does a tremendous job at publishing that data up front. Speaking of that would be the A2 System Service Manual. So Best is primarily known as interchangeable core, specifically what would have been called the Best type. Well, at some point in the 1960s or 70s, whenever it was, 1980s, probably the 1980s would be my guess, the term was replaced with the Best type was replaced with small format interchangeable core. That rendered every other manufacturer's cores to be really considered large format. They are physically, the Best type is physically smaller than others. Medico, Sargent, Yale, Schlage, etc. Speaking about Schlage, they created their own moniker, which is FSIC, or full size interchangeable core. They wanted, as a marketing perspective, to differentiate full from small. They did come up with the term small format. I think it was A.J. Hoffman who did that, who has a book called The Core of the Matter. If you are studying interchangeable core cylinders, that book, The Core of the Matter, is irreplaceable in terms of the study of that. Now, The Core of the Matter was started out by A.J. Hoffman, and here it is. Well, actually, here it is. The Core of the Matter, and it was finished by Billy Edwards because A.J. Hoffman passed away about just over halfway through the book, and finished by Billy Edwards. Speaking of Billy Edwards, there is a book called Master Keying by the Numbers. If you are studying advanced subjects of Master Keying, that book is also indispensable. It gives you quite a unique perspective on keying with ideas and thoughts and processes that are not to be found or will not be found in other books. A great source, especially if you're studying the matrix format, Billy Edwards, from what I understand, is very likely the leading expert in the matrix format versus standard progression and rotating constant. Or forgive me, a list format, the standard progression format, and the matrix format. So a list format, standard progression, and matrix. These three are three different types of format to express changes in a master key system. They're all different. They all complement each other very well. They work together very well. There are some times when a matrix format is perfect and you don't need any more. And there are times when it could certainly be argued it's not the only tool to use, because the standard progression format, while it's much more bulky, is going to allow you to pick out incidental master keys fairly easily, whereas the matrix format, the logic behind that may or may not be possible, and if it is generally above the grasp of the standard locksmith, me included, to do it competently. But this book is irreplaceable, as is the core of the matter. How we got there, I don't know. A2 system. Okay, so BEST is a small format system. They have three systems, A2, A3, and A4. A3 is a sunsetted, discontinued system. Long story short, it was proven to be unreliable. A2 is 99.9%, I believe, of everything that you'll see in a small format system, so much so that I've never keyed to A4. There'd be no reason not to key to A4, but A2 is the standard. So if you're looking to teach yourself how to pin small format, this would be one document among many that would be very helpful in the pursuit of that knowledge. This would be one document among many. Another document that would be valuable would be the bear with me. Quick reference to combinating BEST cores. This document, with a little bit of knowledge, gives you everything you need to know, and this is the document that is literally under the lid of your standard BEST pinning kit. So lots of tremendous data here. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, when it comes to lock sets, keying systems, and accessory hardware, I am an unabashed, unapologetic fan of BEST. I really like the quality of the lock. They may be my favorite lock. They are certainly, if not my favorite, my second favorite. I love the build quality of their grade 1 cylindrical, their mortise lock. What I also love about them is their technical support. I have contacted tech support countless times over the years and have always been given really great technical support, especially the last 5 or 10 years. Back in the 1990s, unless you were working directly with the factory, you weren't really getting the support necessary in all instances. And they would refer you to somebody that would act on their behalf. But that's changed, and they do just a great job with supporting their product line. Really great job. This is a 21B and a 772L padlock, or if you have any questions on this 21B772L or any other BEST product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please click subscribe as well, and even share the video with someone that you know. And if you have any questions for a future video, please send them our way and we will make every attempt to oblige. And thank you very much.